What if cinema wasn't supposed to comfort you, or if it wasn't meant to entertain you, or even give you a story in the traditional sense? What if it was meant to assault you? Gaspar Noe might be the only filmmaker of the 21st century who fully embraces that idea. His films have caused walkouts at Cannes, sparked outrage over depictions of sex and violence, and left audiences genuinely shaken. He's referred to as enfant terrible for a reason. But are they empty provocations, or is there something deeper going on? So today, I want to talk about Gaspar Noé and why he might be the most provocative filmmaker of the 21st century. Gaspar Noé was born in Buenos Aires in 1963 before moving to France at a young age. His father was a painter, and that artistic influence shows. His films are deeply visual, often painterly in composition, even when they're at the most disturbing. He studied film in Paris and was heavily influenced by directors like Stanley Kubrick and Louis Buñuel, filmmakers who weren't afraid to challenge audiences. From the beginning, Noé has been obsessed with the fragility of human morality, the brutality of existence, the illusion of control, and altered states of consciousness. And crucially, he doesn't cut away. If something is disturbing, he forces you to sit with it. There was no messing about with Noé. He got straight into the meat and bones, literally. Carne opens with a horse being shot, gutted, and decapitated. How else would a Gaspar Noé film start? This 40-minute short, loosely inspired by the 1968 film with the same name, introduces us to the butcher, a father who is obsessive and disturbingly controlling over his daughter. Even as she grows older, he washes and dries her. When she is raped by a worker, he violently attacks and paralyzes the man, landing himself in prison. Even though I watched the poor quality version, you can see a real competent filmmaker emerging here, one who knows exactly what he wants to explore. Masculinity, repression, rage, and moral collapse. This was Noé announcing himself and warning you. If Carne is the warning shot, I Stand Alone is the manifesto. We follow the same butcher character years later. This is a violent, abusive, deeply hateful man who blames the world for his own failures. He loses his job, he hurts his partner, he fantasizes about his estranged daughter, he spirals out of control, and we are trapped inside his head. The narration, or his inner thoughts, guides us through his resentment and disgust for society. To call him disenfranchised would be an understatement. He is utterly corrosive. For a moment, and I mean a split second, I thought Noé might end this with something resembling redemption. Beautiful violins playing over the father consoling his daughter, realising the error of his ways. But no, of course not. Noé refuses catharsis. It's ugly, it's uncomfortable, and it sets the tone for everything that follows in his career. This is the film that cemented Noé's reputation. Irreversible is infamous for containing one of the most shocking scenes in modern cinema, the extended rape sequence. It is genuinely hard to watch, and yet the rest of the film is absolutely hypnotic. The opening sequence, with its swirling camera and pounding, nauseating bass frequency, is like being trapped in a nightmare. The reverse chronology structure slowly reveals the tragedy underneath the violence. It's horrible, but I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. It put me in some kind of trance. Noé forces us to experience time backwards, to feel the brutality first, then the innocence later, which makes the ending almost unbearably sad. You can argue it's exploitative, but you can't argue it's forgettable. If Irreversible is grounded horror, Enter the Void is cosmic. This film is truly revolutionary and completely batshit crazy. Shot almost entirely from a first-person perspective, it follows a drug dealer in Tokyo who is killed early on and then drifts through a psychedelic afterlife. It's overwhelming, neon, DMT infused. It feels like cinema from another dimension. This is my go-to recommendation if someone asks what to watch while high. It's about death, reincarnation, consciousness, and it pushes the camera into places I've never seen before. It's not just a film, it's an experience. During one scene in I Stand Alone, one of the characters says, "Love is a mighty big word. Few can claim to know what love is." Was this foreshadowing one of the topics Noé was to explore in one of his future films? Love, his 2015 film, is a 3D pornographic drama about a young man reflecting on his past relationships. It literally opens with a guy being manually assisted, family entertainment basically. It rambles non-linearly through toxic love affairs, drug use, and jealousy. And while it's clearly about love, or at least obsession, it feels like one of his weaker works to me. It lacks the structural boldness of Irreversible, or the hallucinatory power of Enter the Void. It's not bad, but it feels a little lost and meandering. Still provocative, just not quite as transcendent as many of his other works. Climax follows a dance troupe who accidentally take LSD at a rehearsal party. Now this was a return to form, and it descends into absolute madness. The dance sequences are electric, the performances are raw and strange. The camera floats and spins in impossible ways, similar to what it does in Irreversible. There's barely a story, but it doesn't really matter. It's visceral, it lingers. It's one of those films you think about for days afterwards, and, well, you also think, well, that's put me off doing acid and joining a dance troupe ever. And then there's Lux Aeterna, a short film funded by Yves Saint Laurent, which already sounds like it should be sleek, stylish, and safe, but this is Gaspar Noe. Instead of making a glossy fashion ad disguised as cinema, he made a split-screen descent into hysteria, flashing lights, chaos on set, actors unravelling in real time. Most directors soften themselves when a luxury brand is paying the bill. Noe did the opposite. He pushed further into discomfort, further into disorientation. Even when backed by a global fashion house, he didn't compromise. If anything, he doubled down. And then there's Vortex, in many ways Noe's most normal film. It follows an elderly couple dealing with dementia and the slow disintegration of their lives. It uses a split-screen format which keeps both characters visible at all times, a technical choice that quietly devastates you. Casting Dario Argento is absolutely fascinating. I love when filmmakers use other filmmakers within their movies, but I kept wondering, did this really need to exist when Haneke's Amour covered similar ground so recently? It's deeply personal, tender, painful, but it feels spiritually close to something we've already seen. Still, it proves Noe isn't just shot, he can do restraint too. If I had to do a personal ranking of Noe's films, it would look something like this. That's not about shot value, it's about impact. And the top three, they're completely unforgettable. So, is Gaspar Noe the most provocative filmmaker of the 21st century? I'd argue yes. I can totally see why someone would take against Noe's harsh, abrasive style of filmmaking, but there's something which I find so entrancing about his work, because provocation isn't just about nudity or violence, it's about forcing audiences to confront things they don't want to see, and Noe never looks away. As for what's next, he continues to tease new projects, and knowing him, whatever he makes will divide audiences all over again, and honestly, I'll be watching.